Okay, I'm like full on crying. Oh, guys, this book is too much. All right, y'all, it is time. Oh, welcome back to the channel. My name is Allie. It is time for our second release day reaction reading vlog. That's a lot of words. Today, Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover was released, and we are going to read it. Colleen Hoover is a complicated woman. I have read two of her books, Verity, of course, and that one that everyone else has read, It Ends With Us. And I have a complicated relationship with Colleen Hoover. First of all, it seems that the world worships her. And I have to give her credit where credit's due. She does write an entertaining book. I have finished all of the books that I've started of hers. Actually, no, that's not true. This one other book I'll put up here drove me nuts because it was just very whiny, so I stopped reading it. But Verity definitely, like, it was gross and creepy, and I had to, like, finish it. On the other hand, I don't love her books that I've read of hers because I feel, I don't know exactly what it is that's missing for a 4 or 5 star for me, but it is missing. Let's see how it goes. The most I know about this is when I read the summary back in my TBR video. This is about a girl who was in prison. She goes back home, nobody wants to talk to her, and I think she has a daughter that she's not allowed to see, and then she becomes friends with a bartender. That's all I know. So we're gonna find out what's going on. Oh, I will not be spoiling anything. I will probably put something at the end for spoilers, and I will give you fair warning. I gotta tell you, Colleen Hoover knows how to open a scene. I remember in Verity, there was a very graphic scene that just wowed me, and this one is pretty catching. We meet Kenna, our main character. She is in a cab driving home, and she sees a cross on the side of the road. She gets out of the cab, takes it out of the ground. It's revealed that a boy named Scotty died, and she is to blame. And she takes the cross back into the cab with her. Excellent opening. I'm about 15% in. We have discovered a few things. First of all, this is a dual point of view story, which I don't think any of the books that I've read of Colleen's, or on a first name basis, has been dual point of view. It's always been one point of view. So I find that interesting. Our second point of view person's name is Ledger, and he is the owner of a bar. He also apparently played for the Broncos, I think. He was an NFL player. He sees Kenna at the bar. She goes there because it used to be a bookstore, and she's just drinking soda. He's intrigued by her. It's kind of an insta-love situation, which sometimes I don't like. This time I sort of get it, because it's like you're at work, you see someone attractive and you pay more attention to them. He tells her to come back at closing. She does. They start to hook up. She finds out his name. She freaks out. And it turns out it is Scotty's best friend. Scotty is the person who's dead. And we find out that that was Kenna's boyfriend, most likely the father of her child. And they also said, during Ledger's point of view, we found out that he had just been playing with a 4-year-old. So I think he has a relationship with Diem, who is Kenna's daughter. So yeah, lots happening. We also have something that has been in all the Colleen Hoover books I've read, is that there's a way for the character to info dump on us. And it's kind of cringe. Well, I guess not so cringe in this situation. She writes letters to Scotty, and so that's how we find things out. She's like, oh, let me remind you of the day we met. And it's like, obviously, that's being used so that we can find out more information. In Verity, it was Verity's memoir, and in It Ends With Us, the girl wrote to Ellen DeGeneres, which was so random. Kenna seems to have been pregnant while she was in jail, so it doesn't sound like she's ever met her daughter. I'm nervous about the child situation. I just read The School for Good Mothers, and having to listen to those women have to get custody of their kids again, or try to get custody of those kids again, was so effing stressful that I'm scared to deal with that again. Obviously, it was exaggerated in the School for Good Mothers because that takes place like in the future. But anyway, there was a funny line that had me laugh out loud. Kenna shows up to this like sketchy ass apartment and she rents out a room and she asked the landlord lady, Ruth, she said, "Can you tell me where I can find a payphone?" Ruth laughs and she says, "Yeah, back in 2005. That was pretty funny. Way to go, Ruth. What a zinger. Okay, I am invested in this story because my heart is pounding so fast. Kenna is about to knock on Scotty's parents' door to try to talk to them and see her daughter for the first time, and my heart is like going nuts. Guys, I'm really, really, really liking this story. There's a few reasons why. One, I think it's written very well in a way that it's complicated. So we have Kenna. We know she at one point has made a mistake, but we are in her point of view. So we see how much she's struggling and how much she loves her daughter, despite never having met her, and how much she's trying. And so we feel for her. And then we also have Scotty's parents, and we know that they care so much for Diem, and we know that they're good people, but we can also see their point of view. And even Kenna can see their point of view. She has a whole chapter where, well, not a whole chapter, but in the chapter she goes on about, I can't even imagine if I was in their shoes. So the fact that we're coming from two different places, but we can see both sides, and it's like we are conflicted. I'm conflicted. I'm not entirely totally conflicted just because I have personal situations that kind of, anyway. But to that fact, I like Kenna as a character because she is willing to see from Scotty's parents' point of view. She's able to see from what is the best choice for my daughter. So, this is a good story, and the relationship between Kenna and Ledger is making sense too. It's not forced. It fits in the story. He's deeply involved because he's deeply involved in Diem's life. So everything about this is just really working for me. I cried. Because it's just so upsetting. And I can see that there's going to be a point of explosion here because Scotty's parents don't know that Ledger's even talking to Kenna, and that's the one thing that's irking me is like, just tell them, just communicate with them. But I understand his hesitancy, so this is a good one, guys. Another thing I really appreciate is that Ledger and Kenna aren't, together. Since he found out it was her, they haven't, whatever. But one thing I'm appreciating is because obviously Ledger is the second point of view of this story. He's the love interest, but they're not making Scotty out to be any less good. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of stories where a spouse or someone, a significant other, died, and like the only way that the author thinks that we can like the new person is to totally shit on the dead person and be like, oh, but he wasn't that great or she wasn't that great. And I appreciate that Colleen Hoover has not done that here. You can appreciate how great a person was and still like be able to move on. I know this isn't funny, but Kenna not liking music reminds me of Bella not liking music. Sorry. I just read the part where Marianne goes into Ledger's office and she's like, your ex-fiance's here. And her explanation is, I'm just trying to give your girl some angst. The girls love angst. She ain't lying though. Okay, I'm like full on crying. Ugh. Guys, this book is too much. I am a mess. No spoilers, but she read her letter to Ledger in the car. If you read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. My God, I'm losing it. Oh my gosh, I cried like 2 more times. It's very late. I finished the book. I have to work at 6:30. I'm gonna give this book 5 stars. I don't even really have spoilers to give you because it's just like, that was such a good book. And now I like Colleen Hoover. Oh my gosh, so many emotions. I haven't liked a book this much in so long. I feel like it's almost not fair because it's like as soon as I cry in a book, I'm like, damn it, you got me. You sold it to me. I feel like maybe in the morning I'll have a little bit more criticism or a little bit more, I don't know. The only thing I could think of maybe criticizing was actually acknowledged in the book that there was like a back and forth between the 2 points of view. I mean, between the 2 people, Ledger and Kenna, and they actually acknowledge it several times. So it was like, as soon as I started getting impatient, they got impatient. And then I was like, oh, okay. This book was so good, and I think you should read it. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Wow, I'm speechless. I'm gonna go cry now. Bye.